Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is basically going to be a very quick and easy tutorial on how to do various kinds of sleeves or how to make sleeve variations. So we're going to start with, let's say, a puff sleeve. So if you want to make a puff sleeve, you can draft it yourself, or I'm going to use the blocks that are available in the library. So you see blocks. So for women, under t-shirts, you'll also get a very basic sleeve draft. You see, this one we can take because I want the length of the sleeve to be smaller. Okay, I'll double click. Yes, and we're going to add it to this. All right, so you can see clearly the sleeve has been added. But now the thing is, I want this to be like a puff sleeve. So with the puff sleeve, let's start extending it. So it's going to be very wide, like a balloon sleeve. But that's how it is when you cut and spread the sleeve, the balloon sleeve, it is supposed to be spread along the width. I'm increasing the length because this is going to be too small. It's just keeping the size a little wider than it is. Next, we're going to add the sewing lines to the armhole. So I will extend these things further, but for now, let's see how it works. So pre-sewing tool, I am going to start from this point to the cap point. Okay, so cap point to the armhole end. Cap point. I'll just put this a little away so that it's not overlap. Okay, so cap point to the bottom. Cap point of the front to the bottom. This is done. Similarly for the back. Yeah, cap point to the, okay, escape. Cap to the bottom. Cap point to the bottom. Doing the same for the other side. Click, 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 and click. 2, let's press space bar. Don't worry, this is not going to be the final look of it, so we are definitely going to make more changes to it, especially with the bottom. It's just going to flare out right now. We will have to elasticate it or gather it with a cuff to be able to see the gathers. Okay, looks like we'll have to widen it a little more because the gathers are so less. Alright, so let's edit it further. So I want to widen it a little more. Okay, and do it gradually, okay? So do it piece by piece. I've extended it a little and I'll press spacebar. Then do it for the other side, spacebar. You can see You keep widening it and we keep having more gathers. And that's how it works. So if you want more fullness, you'll have to add more width to it and spacebar. Top buff looks good. I'll use the edit pattern tool by pressing Z on keyboard and I'll raise this cap point. That's definitely going to make it look better. So edit pattern tool, pressing Z from keyboard, and this is the cap point. I'm going to drag it up, spacebar. Do you see the fullness here? Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. And next part where we're supposed to gather the bottom as well. Right now it's too flary. So you can use the elastic tool or you can create a cuff. We're going to do it both ways. If you want to add a cuff, you're supposed to make a cuff. So I'll take rectangle tool and I'm going to make a very small cuff. I can also, just right click instead of clicking and dragging and making a very random rectangle, you can simply click and leave the click. If you want to specify like the width I want it to be, I guess 10 is going to be sufficient at the bicep. We might increase it later if it's too tight on the avatar. The height, I don't want it to be more than 0.5 inches. And we're going to arrange it using the arrangement point. So you can press Shift plus F. So I click on the pattern. I'm going to click on the arrangement point. It's around the arm, so when you simulate it, it just doesn't drops off. It just doesn't drop off. Okay, so clicking on the size of the cuff because we'll have to stitch these two together and stitching the bottom of this to the top of the cuff and spacebar. Let the magic happen. You can see the curve and yeah, you can see the gathers at the bottom of the cuff. I just want to make all this a little more cleaner. Okay, so in case you want it to be more fuller, you can also use the fullness point tool, which is here. All you need to do is click on the cap point, click on the bottom, and spread, click and drag. So this is going to add more fullness to it. just like your cut and spread method that you do when you're making patterns manually. Of course, you could have done this earlier as well, but because I wanted to add fullness to both the sides, I did it simply. Okay, I didn't follow the rule of doing it gradually. I made this mistake myself. So you could spread it a little and then space bar. Spread it a little, then space bar. Okay, space bar. I am not doing this like this. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Let's make it slower. Yeah, just one fullness. Space bar. Something went wrong. This looks amazing as is, but still, let's just add a bit of fullness. So it's click, click, and click and drag, and spacebar. You can make more slashes. I will make just one. Yeah, it makes the entire process a lot more slower. So this is more balloonish now. You can clearly see. You can always correct the shape. Use your curvature tools or edit curve point tool to reshape the curves. But with this is a perk with puff sleeves. You really don't have to do much of shaping because it's already so full. I hope the cuff is still in place. You can also right click and strengthen. Yeah, the cuff is in place. Now, in case you want it to be very, very stiff. No, not that I like, but this makes simulation easier sometimes. So I just strengthen it and then right click and unstrengthen to unstrengthen. All right, I'm going to freeze this one. For now, Control K. Because I don't want to do anything else to it. For the other one, we're going to learn how to elasticate. So the other one, rather than putting a cuff to it, we're going to elasticate it. It's pretty simple. You can use your edit pattern tool to select the segment that you want to elasticate. So use your edit pattern tool, click on the segment. It's the hemline that I want to elasticate. I'm going to press the shift key, click, click. So these three segments, the bottom segments of the sleeve, I want to elasticate. Turn on elastic from the property editor. Reduce the ratio. So this ratio, this doesn't have a fixed value to it. It's just if you have a lot of fullness, you might have to reduce the ratio even more. If the width of the fabric is not very much, you can stick to maybe 70 or 80%, but with me, you can clearly see it's way too much. So I'm going to reduce the ratio to, say, let's try to make it 30 or so. Or I guess I can also make it lesser than this to snug it to the arm, okay? And we've added an elastic. Yeah, that was quite simple. So not that you can only add it to the outlines, even if you're making some internal line. So let's try it on an internal line, and it's going to leave a little frill kind of thing at the bottom if you do it that way. So I'm going to press spacebar, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Let's remove the elastic. Or you can just turn the elastic off from the property editor. I don't want it here. What I'll do rather is I'll right click here, offset as internal line. So we're going to create an internal line at, say, an inch, 1.5 or 1.25. Okay. And I'm going to elasticate this internal line rather than elasticating the hemline. So yeah, you can make more rows of it to give that smocking kind of an effect or shearing kind of an effect. But I'll keep it for the other video where we'll learn how to give sheared effect or make sheared sleeves or tops. So yeah, selecting it, turn on elastic, reduce the ratio and simulate. This is going to be somewhere around 26, should be good. Spacebar. Spacebar. So you can see the little frill here. Yeah, I could have made it bigger. Okay, maybe the ratio can be lesser. Yeah, I do definitely choose this kind of a sleeve, but probably not with this kind of a dress. But just because I wanted to have a complete look. Yeah, so okay, maybe I can zoom it in for you to show you the frill. So nothing of this can be done as fast as this in Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever you call it. this is the fastest way of creating them and the most realistic. So wait for the next part where I'm going to tell you how to make those exaggerated bell sleeves or high-low bell sleeves, and we'll probably also see how to add laces to them. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.